Sponsored by Tropical Acres Steakhouse.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim sauce with the awesome bay, with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon and happy Monday, everybody. Well, it is a happy Monday if you had the Chiefs or the over or I don't know what else. It's not a happy Monday for me. Look, there he is. Now it's a very happy Monday, even though I ended up with the Eagles because I booked a friend's bet. I've turned into Defo now. Defo is gone in Atlantic City. But as you can see, and then I booked a friend's bet and I let him, I was the house. I said, pick whoever you want, my friend, the Sheik, Mark. And he said the Chiefs, and then I thought I was golden for the first half, and then everything went to hell. But enough of my troubles. I want to introduce everybody a friend of the show, friend of mine, longtime colleague at the Sun Sentinel. He's still at the Sun Sentinel. I don't know what happened to me. I am no longer I'm here. Chris Perkins, welcome back to the Lunchbox, and thanks for filling in. You look a lot younger and happier and sharper than our man Jeff Defo DeForest. How are you today?
Yeah, I don't know. I know the younger part is probably true. I don't know about the other parts, but I'm here, man. I'm here. And look, I like that Super Bowl. I did pick Philly, but I didn't have any money on the game, so that was a good thing. So I got to watch it in peace.
Yeah. I got to watch it in pieces. I had a eventful game. I had to go to several different locations. I ended up actually just listening to the end of the game on my Sirius XM radio at home because I don't get it. My life is just a series of woes. It's really sad. Not going to get into it all. The weekend started so promisingly. And then it all went right into the circular, not the Super Bowl, but the toilet bowl. But anyway, let me just get a reset here, and we're just going to tell the audience that we're happy to have Chris for as long as we can have him. I understand that some work duties might be coming up in the way, and so he might have to cut out for either a bit or for if he just gets totally repulsed by what he's hearing and seeing here, we'll never see him again. But whatever we got now at the opening, I want to get to you, Perkins. What were your thoughts, first of all, just on the entirety of the game? And also, obviously a lot of chatter about, again, refereeing calls, made calls, missed calls, things overturned, things not overturned. Did that detract from it at all? Or was this still a pretty darn good barn burner?
Great Super Bowl, I thought. But look, again, I didn't have a rooting interest and I didn't have money on the game. So I thought a great Super Bowl, a competitive game. Both teams showed a lot. The defenses, they got buried, but whatever. It was a good game. That pass interference at the end, I probably wouldn't have called it because I didn't think it influenced the play. I think by letter of the law, it was a good call because he did grab, and James Bradbury admitted at the end of the game, I grabbed him. But I don't think it prevented the receiver Juju Smith-Schuster from getting to the spot where the ball landed, and that's what I would have thrown a flag on. Did it negatively impact the play? To me, no, it didn't. But by letter of the law, it was a hold, and so the flag is thrown correctly. But to me, it's one of those deals of you don't referee a game one way for and then change it in the last minute or in the last 2 minutes. You stay consistent with the way that you call the game, and that's what I had a problem with.
Well, wait, Lubie took an opposite approach. He was saying he agreed with the flag and the call, right? And that it would have been a change and it would have been inconsistent if they didn't throw the flag, right?
So if you watch the game twice, the Chiefs in that same area got guys running wide open for easy touchdowns, right? What's different on that play? The defender said, screw it. You're not running wide open in this play. I'm going to grab you three. He literally grabs him early in the play, turns him, which we all know watching football, that changes everything from a receiver standpoint. He then The receiver still got away from him and is now running free. He grabs his jersey to make sure that, no, you're not getting to this ball. And then he misses it by 3 or 4 yards. To me, Mahomes threw it early, knew where he was throwing it to, threw it to a spot, and being held twice would totally change and transform a receiver's route. So the flag had to be thrown. It was a hold. And to me, if you don't throw it then, now you're telling defenders, hey, free reign. We're going to play 1980s, 5 minutes and under. Steve Atwater, come on down. We're allowed to do whatever we want, 5 minutes under. And then I'm confused now. Because the game's transformed to a more offensive game. Now you're saying, but the last 5 minutes, we go 1988. So I don't, that's my problem with not throwing that flag is I don't mind the refs staying out of it. But then what are you doing? What game were we playing? We're playing 2023 or 1988.
Here on the Lunchbox, we're starting off with a very sports-heavy discussion, which we sometimes do, besides stuffing our faces. But we do have to salute the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this call, I can't really comment on it. I still haven't seen it, but from everything that I've heard described, and the fact that the offender, the defensive back, also admitted that he held him, that would indicate to me that, okay, that maybe this flag had to be thrown. I wish it wasn't. And, I'm from a old school, not just NFL, but like an NHL mentality where at the end of a big playoff game, the refs do swallow the whistle, or they used to. They've actually gotten into this thing now where they do call penalties and overtimes, which is incredible to me because it used to be just like, let the boys play and let whoever is the toughest, and whoever has, gets whoever can scrap their way through whatever is thrown at them, even if it might be technically against the rules. That's the way a game should be decided, especially a championship game. So I could buy the swallow the whistle thing. I don't mind it so much, especially if it leads to more drama. I think a game like this, because what that call did is basically effective. It shut it out. It shut out any hope of Philadelphia and Hurts getting the ball back and, driving for a potential tying field goal or a potential winning touchdown. I mean, the fact was it was a 3rd and long on that call, and they would have kicked the field goal most likely, and most likely would have had a 3-point lead with about, a minute, 20 seconds to play with. At that point, I think Philadelphia didn't have to burn. I think they still had 2 timeouts at that point.
No, they had none. They had user timeouts.
Did they have to use it? No, did they have to use it on the well, all right. I don't
they had used it to get to that point. They had user timeouts to save as much.
They had to use the timeout to
People are questioning is if Sirianni had held onto a timeout, it would have made it
the bottom line is at least they would have gotten the ball back with a shot at time or winning with 1 minute. And that's how you wanted that Super Bowl end. You wanted, with drama and a last second, a chance. And instead, that just deflated the air of the balloon. Everybody knew that now that Kansas City was just going to be able to run the clock almost virtually down to 0 and likely kick the game-winning field goal, which they did, 38-35. Over players were rejoicing in the 3rd quarter, and I was rejoicing not at all because I had Philadelphia straight up. So I just was left crying in my beer at shenanigans after getting thrown out of shells, and we won't get into all the gory details there, but let's just say it was it was a great first half for me as a Philadelphia rooter last night, and you thought for a second that my prediction that this might be one of those old-fashioned blowouts was coming to fruition, especially when Mahomes, he didn't just come up gimpy, he was screaming in pain. What I want to know, and do you have any answers, Perkins? Is what did they do to him at halftime? What did they shoot him up with? And I don't even think they allow that with horses anymore. They have now become very strict with injections and medications and masking agents and Lasix. But I guess that does not apply in the NFL. What did he do? How can he be so effective after really screaming in agony? And we all thought that it was time for Chad Henne again, right?
Hey, better living through chemistry, Mayo. That's it. That's it, baby. That's it. Wasn't that a saying in the 60s, right? I mean, come on. Yeah. That's all I can figure because, look, I know us Texans are tough, and Mahomes is a Texan. I'm a Texan, but there's limits. There are legal limits. And so, I would have to think that was a drug-induced victory by Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City.
Yeah, it was something because
It was.
not only did they make whatever adjustment. I mean, look, that Andy Reid with the long halftime obviously did some things,
Yes.
said some things, lit some fires under some butts, and also, but they just came out with just. It seemed from that point on that Philadelphia was totally confused, and
Yep.
the defense was
Yep.
basically ineffective. And then Philadelphia made the kind of mistakes that and quarterback Hurts made kind of mistakes that you would expect from him with the fumble and all that stuff. So, yeah, it became a much better and more exciting game. So, but boy, give credit to Andy Reid because I really did think his coaching pretty much won the game, right?
Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, Lubie, you might know, didn't Kansas City score on every second half
Yes.
possession? Yeah, I
I
think
think they
they
scored
did.
3 straight times. And yeah, I guess the field goal then. Yeah. I mean, they didn't have the ball that many times for them
Right.
not to have scored every possession.
I think
All
they
right.
did. Yeah, yeah.
So,
And I'll say this on the flag that there was an ESPN clip this morning where Dan Orlovsky, one of the talking heads on there, showed a clip of Bradbury grabbing Schuster earlier in the game. Now it was in the middle of the field. To your point,
It's
Lubie,
harder to
it
see. It's
wasn't
harder to see.
right. Yeah, and he turned him, and there was no flag on the play. But again, look, he grabbed him, and Bradbury admitted that he grabbed him. So that's the way it goes. I wouldn't have thrown the flag if I was the ref, but I might have lost my job.
Well,
So,
look,
which could happen at the Sun Sentinel, by the way. I could lose my job.
Look, if anyone who's followed me on Twitter, I've been very vehement fighting with people for the last day. The reality for me is if they didn't throw the flag, I wouldn't have been like the Eagles fans or the people who are opposing me, right? Like people who are saying, what about, I wouldn't have. I would have been like, look, I've watched sports my entire life. I understand when refs don't call a flag, right? I wouldn't have been this vehement the other way. I would have just accepted it because the Chiefs still would have gotten a field goal and they still would have had a chance with about a minute 20 to win the game. And to me, I think they still would have. So I wouldn't have lost it if they didn't throw the flag. But when I saw the replay and I saw 2 different holds and the refs throw it, and again, you just said it wasn't the middle of the field. It was at the outside, right in front of the ref standing there. Like, if they then decide to throw the flag, to me, I can't be mad at it because it happened and the player admitted it. And the Eagles twice.
hey, look, Eagles fans,
Like,
they can't bitch too much today because look, they had a couple of calls
calls
really
were
go
good.
their way. That Kansas City, fumble recovery after what appeared to be a catch, and then they called it a non-catch, and that would have been a quick 7 points right there, which would have totally changed the early momentum of the game. And then, of course, ruling
that catch.
a catch for the Philadelphia guy who was doing the Tyree thing on his head, but he had no possession, when he was going out of bounds. So that one baffled me, even though Mike Pereira on the Fox broadcast was saying that it should catch because I guess what he had control on his helmet with both feet in bounds.
Yeah, but then he shifted it to catch it with 2.
I don't get. It's all. All I know is it. Go ahead.
Let me ask you guys something because you know how the NBA does that last 2-minute report that people hate. I like it. I'm wondering what I know, Lubie. Here we go again, Lubie. I'm wondering what you guys think. And here's my whole view of the 2-minute report.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to change the outcome of the game. So that's what people are like. I don't care. It's not going to change the outcome. To me, there's the allegation in all of sports that sports are fixed.
Yeah.
That we know who's going to win, and they want LeBron to win, and they want Mahomes and Brady. And so, to me, the last 2-minute report in the NBA, for those that don't know, that the next day the NBA puts out this report of the last 2 minutes, and it's all the officiating errors that happened in the last 2 minutes of the game. I like it because it shows some accountability, and it shows, okay, we acknowledge that we mess up. We don't just let it go and collect money from people and don't acknowledge it. That's what I like about the last 2-minute report. No, it's not going to change the outcome of the game, but it lets me know that the league gives a damn and doesn't turn a blind eye to these allegations of the games are fixed. But what do you guys think? Lubie, I think I know what you think about the last 2-minute report, but what do you guys think about it or even the idea of a last 2-minute report?
You just said it there. It's interesting to me. I in reality, I like the idea because I'm one of those people. I don't think there's conspiracies. This thing with Arian Foster, where the script,
Right.
yes, because they
There
plan
is
out
no look.
every
That's
employee and
ridiculous.
that's enough.
I could see that with getting to the Super Bowl, the matchup that the networks and might want to favor, the best storylines, the biggest cities. But in this case, the matchup is already all set, and who really cares whether it's Philadelphia or Mahomes? I don't think the league has a interest in having Mahomes, being seen as like a great superstar. But
I would
whatever.
disagree.
But Hurts he's a budding superstar too, and a compelling
Well,
story.
no, I think the big thing with Mahomes is for the rest of his career, you market it as can he catch Tom Brady? And that's how you sell all the games is that here's the next guy. Here's this is the guy who has the chance to be the greatest. So watch these games. That's like, to me, that's what the league would have to gain by having Mahomes win is that now for the next 15 years, you promote him as this is the one who can catch Tom Brady.
Look, he's already proven himself. Win, lose, or draw in that game. Just the fact that he came back from ankle injuries in 2 games and managed to make, there's no doubting his greatness, his toughness. Obviously, winning a game and now being 2-1 instead of 1-2 changes things. But the fact is, he's been in 3 Super Bowls at a young age. So, I mean, he's got his whole future ahead of him, and he's got 2 titles now. Jim Sarney chimes in with a good point I didn't think of. Pity the 4 Philadelphia fans. Not that I like to pity people who pelt Santa Claus with snowballs, but they've lost the Super Bowl. They lost the World Series. And now this is a stretch. They lost the MLS finals. I don't think anybody cares about that or even knows about that, but he says that's a lot of heartbreak. For Philadelphia, it's a tough a cheesesteak to swallow. But
you know what?
Hey,
I'll say this. 2 things. I don't pity them too bad because they just won the Super Bowl in 2017, right? So, but here's the other. The reason that I pity them is because they had to deal with the process with the 76ers, with Joel Embiid. That's why I pity those people. Hats off to you for having the patience to get through all that mess and still going through it.
So I wanted to salute Kansas City and their fans today by a typical Mayo lunchbox disgusting display. I was going to chug a bottle of Kansas City barbecue sauce, but I looked in both my fridge and pantry and it was empty. And I knew I had one, but I can't believe I actually cleaned out my fridge a couple of weeks ago, probably after New Year's. And that bottle that's been laying around for a couple of years is no longer there. So I'm going to have to save that for tomorrow's show with Ken, the professor, is going to be joining us, your friend, co-owner, partner of the Foundry restaurant, good foodie, good sports fan, and I will totally gross him out I'll get a bottle of that Gates Kansas City barbecue sauce and start chugging that in salute of Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs and their victory. All right, let's get to some more important stuff. Number 1, what do we think of the halftime show, Rihanna? And number 2, any commercials that stood out to you?
I'll go first. Halftime show is great. I usually don't watch the halftime shows. I hate the halftime shows, actually. But my girlfriend wanted to watch it, and so I watched it. I thought it was absolutely outstanding. Like how you get the choreography for how many dancers did she have out there? 100? I mean, incredible. And then she's going 100 feet in the air on that stage, which I'm sure she was strapped in. We couldn't see under that red outfit, but excellent halftime show. And I thought the best commercial was the Canada commercial. I thought that was outstanding. The Crown Royal, and here's the things that Canada brought us. And
was that Dave Grohl? That was the Dave Grohl commercial? That was Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters. Was
no, that was the guy. They did the egg carton. It was everything that Canada.
No, but I think the guy who was the narrator was Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters, who I'm not even sure.
Oh yeah. I don't know who it was, to tell you the truth.
That was Dave Grohl. That was one of the few people I recognized because he was in Nirvana, and I'm an old punk rock guy. All the other ones, I was like, "Who's that? Who's that?"
Yeah. That was my favorite commercial of them.
Lubie, what did you think of Rihanna? I know that Defo was disparaging it. He thought it was lip synced worse than a Godzilla meets the Smog Monster movie, or what?
But aren't they all lip synced? Who can dance around there and
I
not
think
be out of breath
U2
while
and
singing?
Springsteen actually performed live because they're actually rock acts, but not sure.
I think Defo said it's worse than a kung fu movie from the 70s. I don't. really hold the singing in those high. Like I agree with Perk. Like they're
Yeah.
doing backflips. Like, do I
Yeah.
expect Bad Bunny to be singing? Like I just don't. That's the funny thing is so you watch it, right? And then nowadays the next move is when it's a restaurant, you go to Yelp. When it's a performance, you go to Twitter. What is Twitter saying?
Yeah.
And it's so funny to see the reactions compared to what you just saw with your eyes, because I liked it. Now here's the deal. I like Rihanna. I knew literally every song. My parents were there. They're going, I didn't know she sang that. I didn't know she sang that. And my dad's like, she has no hits. Oh, what? So I like Rihanna. I like Riri. I've been a big fan of hers. So I listened to the music. I didn't really worry about the whole show. Now, I didn't understand what the outfits were. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what they were symbolizing. That was a little confusing to me. But again, unlike Defo, I don't hold that up so high. I agree with Perk. The fact that they're in sync is ridiculous to me. The fact that she's like thousands of feet in the air, singing confidently, and she hasn't sung in public in like 5 years is impressive. And that's what I focused on. So I enjoyed it. However, it's been very mixed reviews, and I don't know. People have weird expectations for a halftime show. I don't. I enjoy it.
And before I opine about a show I didn't see, because that was also when I was doing my walk of shame and I was driving over to Shenanigans, so I missed the halftime performance. I read the New York Times critic liked it a lot and was praising it as a comeback for somebody who really hasn't been doing much music lately. And what I also didn't realize, and until I guess I heard about it, is that she announced that she's pregnant again. And I thought she just had a child, a baby, last year. So she's gone right back to the well and is pregnant again, which to be able to perform, that's why she wasn't maybe moving around and have the old dance moves like she used to. She still strapped herself in and did the high flying Walenda act, which is to be, I guess, applauded when you're carrying. But, so I can't.
I thought was weird was Rihanna. Look, she's not Britney Spears where she's a dancer, but she is from the islands. Rihanna singing, she's dancing. Like Rihanna usually is doing a lot more than like a leg kick. And then she also had like her stomach was the shape. And again, I've learned as a man, you don't say this out loud until someone tells you first. Exactly.
Right.
But
yeah, you don't say, "Oh, when's the baby due?" Because that's as bad as going up to somebody who's enjoying their dinner and saying, food goes better with exercise. Did you hear this story, Perk? This happened to me last week at Runway 84.
Really?
Where a guy who I guess was trying to provoke me, or I don't know if he recognized me or not, but I was like having this, you know what happens with me. People start showering me with dishes I didn't order. I've been, well taken care of by the folks at Runway 84. And I happened to bump into him sitting next to the bar, this one woman that I know, and she was with a friend. So I'm sharing all these things with them. And all of a sudden, this guy who I don't know comes up and introduces himself as the owner of a gym and just goes, food tastes better when you exercise. And like I said, and this audience has heard it over and over.
Laugh every time.
People are feeling bad for me. It triggered a whole bunch of comments on the Let's Eat South Florida group.
Wow.
And when Michelle heard it yesterday, she felt really bad for me. She said she would have slugged the guy on the spot and taken up for me. And I said, that's very nice, since you're we're no longer together. But anyway, that's about as bad a thing as you can say to somebody, except for when's the baby due for a woman who is.
So watching it was like, that was my only thing. I'm like, maybe but I know she just had a kid. And the only reason I felt okay was my mother, who's birthed 3 children. She was a part of my sister birthing 2 children. She's been around many births. My mother's like, yeah, she's definitely pregnant. I'm like, you sure? I'm like, she's like, Michael, I know a baby bump. I'm telling you, that looks like a baby bump. And I felt vindicated because literally later that night, I guess their PR people, because they must have been, some people were like, what is going on with her? She came out either before or after the game and said, yes, I'm in fact pregnant, which explained a lot. And then knowing
I bet the Pepsi and CBS, Fox folks were just ecstatic to learn that she was pregnant and was going to be impeding what she could do for the performance that she got paid. How much money? I didn't even read the.
Hey, at least you didn't have a Budweiser ad, right?
Hey, speaking of that, I guess my man Joe Cassell was kind of a little bit critical of Serena Williams being in 2 liquor spots, one for Mick Ultra in the Caddyshack remake, and the other one for also, I guess,
Remy Martin.
was a Remy Martin commercial, because he said earlier in her career that she wouldn't touch a drop of alcohol, would always wave off the congratulatory bottle of champagne that they presented to Miami Open winners, because she was Jehovah's Witness and does not drink alcohol. So he was wondering, what is she doing accepting millions of sponsored dollars promoting alcohol? Where's the consistency is that? Do we know if she's still Jehovah's Witness and adheres to a non-alcohol thing, or do we care about that?
I don't.
Not. I mean, I see that there could be an integrity thing, but you know what? If Remy Martin and Mick Ultra want to give her the money, and people who I guess, and people follow the advice of a non-drinker, free market, baby. Free market.
I don't know. It'd be like having
Not
Jeff
mine
Defo
to me.
DeForest become a sponsor for Skyline Chili. You can't go around like bad mouthing the stuff and then all of a sudden like say, I love Skyline Chili. This is the best. And by the way, I did have that was my Saturday. I'm going to talk about that later in the show, that I went from the sublime to the ridiculous. I was on my way to get this like sushi feast with my friend Hui, who owns Kaizen restaurant. He had all these aged tuna cuts. He was there all day Saturday. He said, come on up, I'll take care of you, which, that's music to my ears. Right. And but there was some horrendous wreck on I-95. It was going to take me more than an hour to get from my home to Kaizen, which is only a commercial boulevard. And I was actually I was about to get on the highway, and I saw that everything was like blown up. And I was like, I can't do this. It's just too long, because I had to pick up my daughter from work. So I just ended up going west, young man. And I ended up at the Skyline Chili, and I had a tremendous wet 4-way and a coney dog. And I hated myself every minute of it, but I really loved it. It was so good. It really hit the spot. I love Skyline Chili. I wish the Bengals were in it again, so I could have bet Defo another sloppy bowl of that stuff that he hates. And but anyway, I digress. What do you? The commercials.
Hey, I'm impressed that you guys knew so much about the halftime show. I really, because you knew way more than I did. And Joanne Rosen here's text in. I think you're the only one who liked the halftime show. I didn't even know the reviews about it. See, I don't ever go to Twitter.
You don't have to follow. You're one of those people, because you're a columnist. You have your own opinions. You're not a follower. You don't need to go see which way the wind is blowing. You know how to form your own opinion. That's why we love you, Chris Perkins. Now, don't miss that phone call. You could break away if you do get it. Hey, so the Lubie, I don't know what your favorite commercial is, but I know what your friend the professor's least favorite commercial was. The first one, Ben Affleck at the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru. I thought it was amusing. I was cracking up with it.
Yeah, I guess I missed a lot of the commercials. My nephew was running around like a lunatic in my house, so I was more focused on that for most of the commercials. So I don't have one I remembered. I remember, and Defo and I talked about this, watching a lot of the commercials, playing the game. What's the actual product? That was right. Pretty much every commercial for me was my parents and I would look and go, Rams. That's the only thing I got from commercials where they were.
I agree. I spent a lot of time going, they spent $7 million for that. Yeah, it's like, and again, when they're doing this totally random thing that has nothing to do with the product, and you're like, WTF, what was that about? The thing I liked about the Affleck ad is that you immediately could place him, that he's in a Dunkin' Donuts, working a Dunkin' Donuts window, kind of like an old Letterman bit. That was what Letterman used to do all the time. And I thought it was pretty funny, especially with some people who actually genuinely did not know who he was, which is always a good
I missed that commercial. I missed that commercial.
It was the very first commercial in the first quarter after the first opening touchdown drive by the Eagles. So I like that one.
Who did the commercial with their mom, where they basically did like a lot of the outtakes almost? That it was.
I think that was every one of them. No, there was a lot of moms, but it was. And now I'm gonna draw a blank, but I remember that one.
Yeah.
Oh, it was with what's his name? The actor who never wins the Oscar, the Philadelphia guy, Bradley Cooper. Bradley.
Yes. That was it.
Yeah, for T-Mobile. I remember that one.
Here's the one where you guys talk about you don't know what it was. What about the Blue Moon commercial, where it was the Coors Light and Miller Lite fighting it out, and it was like two guys. They were going at it. I like Miller Lite. I like Coors Light. And so like for 25 seconds, it's I like Miller Lite. I like Coors Light. And at the very end, it goes, this is actually a commercial for Blue Moon. I thought it was very edgy because
it's
but
clever
at the end of that commercial, I was like, okay, Blue Moon. But the whole like 25
the
seconds of
setup
the
was the competitors. That's
Very
daring,
risky.
but it's edgy. But I guess you remembered it, so it worked. I guess I kind of just missed the days of the Budweiser Frogs and the
The .coms.
Spuds McKenzie, and things you knew you would see every year. Now it's just all mishegas. I don't even know what's going on half the time.
Hey,
but
no crypto ads.
There wasn't any
no Larry David saying, I don't think it's going to work. This turns out may have been right. So anyway, that's I did have one more thing about one of the commercials. It'll come to me on the next break of our commercials. Hey, it is time to take our first break. And I do want to talk about, we're so busy talking Super Bowl. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, which is another big day on the calendar. Not for maybe so much the single male sports fan, but for anybody who's in a relationship. This is the time where you got to go impress. And there's two routes to go. One, you could go shopping on your own and see our friends at Delaware Seafood Market and Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. But now I'm talking about good old school, going out, getting a little dressed up, having a nice romantic dinner for two somewhere. And one of my favorite places, of course, is Tropical Acres Steakhouse. Now, the complication is a lot of places now are fully booked.
Yeah.
Tropical Acres, technically, they're all filled up in the book for their reservations. However, they always say for these major holidays, some space for some walk-ins. So if you want to go to Tropical Acres tomorrow and impress your date or spouse with a lovely meal that includes some of the greatest steaks and seafood around, great value. Again, Tropical Acres is at 2500 Griffin Road, just west of the airport in 95. They have the filet mignon and the prime rib that they're known for. Tomorrow they have a special holiday menu. They have reasonable prices on wine every night. Tonight is half price wine night. Maybe that's the best thing to do. Celebrate Valentine's Day one night early. Call it Valentine's Day Eve. Go into Tropical Acres tonight because it won't be nearly as crazy and busy. You can go in there and get your great happy hour in the bar with your half price drinks, which is unbelievable. You get like a Belvedere martini like I do for $8. Which is an incredible value. And some of your light bites you could get in the bar during happy hour 4:30 to 6:30, and then sashay on over to the main dining room tonight. Half price wine night. You got to go. He's out. We'll see you later. If you can join us again. If not, thank you for your time this time. And we will. But Tropical Acres. Go in there tomorrow. You could kind of try to use a walk-in and mention Lunchbox and Mike Mayo, who said that we could possibly walk in. You could do that. Tropical Acres, again, go tropicalacres.com. And half price wine night tonight is really a great deal because you get some of these bottles that you $40, $50 bottles for $20, $25. It's less than you could get them in the in your favorite wine and liquor store. So Tropical Acres, the place to go for a special occasion or any occasion. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
This is Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. We are recapping our big game eats and experiences. Coming back, I want to get to the food. Mayo had a very interesting evening, as I've learned only Mike Mayo can have. So after this, we'll get to the food on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox.
Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent. We're back on the Lunchbox post Super Bowl edition, post big game weekend, and pre Valentine's Day edition on the Lunchbox. Before we put a bow on the Super Bowl, well, first of all, I'm a little mystified because Defo, and we thank Chris Perkins again for stopping by the first half hour. He had to attend to some business for his real job, the Sun Sentinel Dolphins columnist. He had an interview that had to break away, but again, a half hour with Perkins sure beats a lot of hours with, let's say, me. So, but I was confused because Defo, again, he's away on his, I guess it's become like a quarterly break now where, and he's earned it. The man is almost 72 years old. I don't want to, say that he's an elder and he needs his rest, but he loves to go and get away with Sally, his wife, and they go up to Atlantic City. And they got an all expenses paid trip, but it still could turn out to be an expensive trip. We don't know yet. But he kept referring to this pool party that they had at the Harrah's property for the Super Bowl. And I'm thinking to myself, who the heck is having a pool party in Atlantic City in the middle of February? Is this an indoor pool like they had at the Holiday Inns in the old days where you have that big smell of chlorine when you go in that room and all the kids are like jumping in this pool that's heated to 120 degrees and God knows what kind of bacteria are floating around there? You remember those indoor pools at some of these like northern hotels that was like the greatest thing when you were a kid and now it's like, oh my God, get me out of here. But what was that? Did they have an indoor pool? You need to query him about this.
Yeah, he's going to tell me tomorrow morning, so I will. That's good for you, and that's the reporter in you for picking that information out. I couldn't get past the idea of Defo at a pool party, so that's really where I got stuck in that bit of information. I actually didn't even think about that because to me, Vegas does this year round, but it's Vegas, right? It's warm year round, so they can get away with it. Just like here with Sterling and I've been to pool parties at Dare and Hard Rock year round because again, we have most of our days are warm. I didn't think about that's Jersey.
It's weird. No, unless maybe Defo is referring to just in the sportsbook area, they're having a Super Bowl pool party where everybody was picking their squares or something like that. But
I don't know. No, it was a pool. They were at a
pool. So I'm intrigued by that. I completely blew it. I forgot to ask Perky about this was in the first half when we were still talking. Michelle was asking. She's so confused now by uniform numbers in football. How it used to be that a certain set of numbers were assigned to a particular set of players, either, the offensive linemen or the defensive backs or quarterbacks. Now it seems helter skelter, where you've got position players are wearing 11 or something that used to be a quarterback number. Like quarterbacks are wearing one that used to be, I don't know, and like a defensive lineman are wearing 88 or it's just do you know anything about that there used to be rules and now it's all blown up or what's happened with
there was definitely not even like an understanding. There was actual rules about each position group. You're in the 60s, you're in the
assigned
80s.
Set of numbers. Yes, right. Okay.
That was 100% how it was. And a few years back, I don't know the exact year. I mean, if we do get Perk back, you can ask him because he still works definitively with the league. I remember they opened it up a little bit because certain players, because in college they didn't really have that. So you'd come from college and you lose your number. And these players are really attached to their numbers.
Especially now with NIL and name, image, and likeness, where they get paid for their identity in college, and that's usually pegged to a uniform number.
Yes.
Correct?
So I remember a few years back, they've opened it up where I still think there's certain parameters, but they've opened it up a great deal where you can have a quarterback. And that's right. Heritage is number one, right? Well, number one used to be like a star receiver or star corner, or it was very skill position related. Now a quarterback can have, I don't know if it's unlimited, but it's definitely more open than it used to be. And she's right. So good job by her for noticing.
And it's confusing because it used to be, I guess, I don't know if it makes it harder or not for different players, especially quarterbacks. That if they see a certain number, they might. Well, no, that's just stupid. All right,
they figure it out. And they'll be okay.
They could probably figure it out, unless they're Vinny Testaverde, who is colorblind, and sometimes he had trouble figuring out the opposing players from his own. I always kind of like that tidbit. Okay, hey. We have to do a big congratulations because today we don't have to spend any time on tiebreakers or shakes or names out of a hat, because this week the Gulfstream 10 Palms Sunday Brunch Contest, and this is so bizarre, but that's the way horse racing usually works. We had one winner. We had 41 entrants this week, and it was, the name of the restaurant that we were going for in Miami Beach that is now closed, but it was the Forge. A lot of basically Forge. But what only our winner, Amy Morantz, and congratulations to Amy.
Congrats, Amy.
This week's winner. She was the only one out of 41 who ended up with the winning horse in this week's contest. And the bizarre part is it was originally slated to be a 10-horse field in the feature race Saturday at Gulfstream, which was, I think they called it the Gulfstream Park Turf Sprint, a 5-furlong affair for horses, and basically it was half the field scratched. I don't even know why. It wasn't even a rainy day on Saturday, but it was basically only 5 horses ended up running out of 10. A bunch of people picked horses who were scratched out of the race, and our rules are such that if you pick a scratched horse, you automatically get the post-time favorite, who in this case I think was Karatari, ended up being the favorite in the race. He finished second, and Amy Morantz was the only one to pick the number 5 horse. Yes, I Am Free. That's the horse for me.
I told you.
And going into Valentine's Day solo as usual. But yeah, Yes, I Am Free was the winning horse. A 5-horse field went off at 3-1. And Amy was the only one who correctly picked the number 5 horse. So therefore, she just won outright. I was able to send a email to her nice and early this morning, and I didn't realize she's a grade school teacher. And I sent her the message congratulating her email. and she said, "OMG, OMG, my first graders see my reaction at this moment and think I'm crazy. In such a good mood, I think they're going to get extra recess today."
Good job, man.
So I was able to brighten a elementary school teacher's life with the winning news, and that's always a good thing. Again, congrats again. We'll be doing it again this Friday at Gulfstream Park. We love going out there, and we love 10 Palm Sunday brunch giveaway. We'll be doing it all season long up until the Florida Derby, which is April 1st this year. One weird thing, last week's winner, who was Dr. Patel, has not responded to my winning email messages. I'm going to give him a couple more chances, but then I think I might have to go back to the hat if he never responds, because we want people to win these contest prizes. But so Dr. Patel, if you are out there, please get in touch with us and claim your prize, because you get to choose any Sunday between now and the end of April to redeem that great brunch package. All right. Let's talk a little bit about more of the commercials, because there was, you mentioned, so the Dave Grohl, who's the, the lead singer, frontman for the Foo Fighters, and used to be the drummer in Nirvana. I guess he's Canadian, but he was doing this commercial.
When I looked it up, it literally says American musician. So,
really? Okay. Maybe he's not. I don't know why they pegged him to give the salute to Canada. It really, he's not even okay, because there are some Canadian, like, for example, what's his name, Justin Bieber is Canadian, right?
Yes,
They could have gotten, I guess his price was too high, but no, that ad was amusing because it credited Canada for all their inventions. But one thing that I guess I could maybe not give them credit for, the Hawaiian pizza actually was invented at a pub in Canada. It was not a Hawaiian invention, but the first person for some godforsaken reason to put ham and pineapple on a pizza. It's a tavern owner in Canada. Now, my daughter eats the stuff. She likes it. And, I've learned not to be so judgy and not to be, the food police and say, you can't do this, you can't do that. What I've learned in 4+ years of running the Let's Eat South Florida Facebook group, which is now over 98,000 strong, is that, what, food is subjective and people can do what they want with their food. They could eat Skyline chili if they want to. They can put ketchup on hot dogs if they want to. They could put pineapple on pizza if they want to. And I'm not going to say anything. I just, I will offer opinions as to my expert palate as to why most of these things are horrendous crimes against food humanity. But you can go ahead and do it. So that's it.
So Dave Grohl's born in Ohio. He's American, but he was thanking Canada. So maybe, I don't know, they wanted to get an American great to thank Canada for their greatness. I don't know why they went with Dave Grohl. It isn't. I've always been curious about your opinion on that, because Shirley and her family, and again, her family are the ones that are a big part of me broadening my food horizons. They literally thought it was funny because my family, we always went to the same deli every Saturday for years. Like, we don't see each other a lot. So that was our way of weekly checking in, where we would go to the same place. It was called Bagel Host. So I grew up going to this place. And then in adulthood, we brought it back and we went for years. We went every Saturday, and her family thought that was the most ridiculous thing ever. Why would you go to the same restaurant when there's so many restaurants out there? If you want to meet together, that's fine, but go somewhere different. So that's their opinion, is they're very cultural and they eat stuff, and they're great about that. But they love Hawaiian pizza, which I thought was the most biggest atrocity to food, even more than a Skyline chili. That to me is, I would eat that before. I never understood putting pineapple on pizza. The ham, fine, but pineapple, I never got it. So I've always been curious about your opinion of what to me seemed atrocious. And I guess now we got it, where you deal
my
with
opinion is that fruit belongs nowhere near pizza. It belongs nowhere near cheese or ham or sauce, tomato sauce. Bad combo. I do like fruit as a fruit salad. I like it in my cereal. I like it in my yogurt. I sometimes like it chopped up like mangoes and things on fish, which is what the original wave of Florida chefs that broke through, known as the Floridian, the mango gang, because they did a lot of things with these tropical fruits and putting them on fish, and that can work. We have a fruit relish, and you see that, and Brad and Dave do that at
Yep.
Even Keel.
Mango salsa.
That
You'll get a mango salsa.
yeah, mango salsa goes with a nice white, light, neutral fish like a snapper. That's fine. But when you start getting involved with cheese pizzas and pineapples on top, just let the train leave the station without me. But anyway, hey, it is time to talk about Valentine's Day again. And like I said, for those of you who want to maybe do the true romance thing and have a nice romantic dinner at home, prepare it for and surprise maybe your partner, spouse. Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market is the place to go for you because they have this special Valentine's Day dinner for two package that you could call them right now today, order it in advance, and pick it up either later today or tomorrow on the big day itself. It's a stone crab claw feast with your choice of mustard sauce, and then you could also get shrimp cocktail. It's going to get a coleslaw and a choice of dessert, where it's a chocolate or red velvet cupcake or their famous key lime pie. Again, stone crab claws with mustard sauce, shrimp cocktail with cocktail sauce, coleslaw, and dessert. And this package for two, it's $124 for medium claws. If you want to upgrade a little and get the large claws, it's $148. And if you want to really show your love, get the jumbo claws for $185. Again, Delaware Seafood, Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Call 954-983-6831. Again, 954-983-6831 to order this special Valentine's Day package for pickup. They could even do a curbside pickup for you. You don't even have to get out of the car if you want. Just tell them that's what you want. It's, again, Delaware Chicken Farm Seafood Market, 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood. You know it. It's been there forever, since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been going there for a long time, over 30 years. And actually, we had a beautiful spread last night that Michelle put out with a lot of things from Delaware chicken and seafood, including the great fish dip that we enjoyed on the show last week. But she got a fresh batch the other day. She also got some of their conch salad. That was a delicious opener for the pregame. And then she got those jumbo prawns that she grilled, and they came out spectacular. The jumbo prawns, along with she hooked their butcher counter. She got some of their skirt steaks. It was a Korean marinated skirt steaks that we also enjoyed with some crunchy rice. I go there for all the big meals. Michelle shops there, and she's a great cook. Delaware Seafood and Chicken. It's right across from the old Seminole Classic Casino. Tell them that the Lunchbox and Mike Mayo sent you.
And we still haven't talked. He talked about a little of the idea of what he had. I'm curious about the actual eating that took place for Mike Mayo and those around Mike Mayo. We'll talk about what the Lubitzes were doing for the big game. And if you guys want to chat, tell us some of the things you were doing for the big game and your Super Bowl festivities. We'd love to hear it next, right here, as we finish our Monday edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox.
Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach, Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. And we're back on the Lunchbox. It's a Monday, post-Super Bowl, pre-Valentine's Day edition from the Homesteads. I'm Mike Mayo. He's Mike Lubie Lubitz. Jeff Diva DeForest. I don't know if this is a plaintive cry for help, but I just got a text from him. It's just a simple picture of today's front cover of the Daily Racing Forum that shows the sad state of affairs. 3 tracks running today: Parks, Mahoning Valley, which I don't even know where that is, and Turf Paradise. And believe me, if you're a horse player and want quality horse flesh to bet on, Turf Paradise is no paradise. But he is at the sports book at his hotel, plunging away on 3 of the most just saddest, most miserable race cards on a Monday that you could imagine. Now, Joanne was wondering which horses got scratched on Saturday's card, and it was half the field. And I'm going to tell you right now that it was I don't even know the numbers here, but let's see. I'm looking at scratches. Classic State of Mind, full disclosure, my pal Maddie, Rockcrest, and the Critical Way. So I think it was basically numbers 1, 6, 7, 9, and 10 were the scratches. So for those scoring at home that care, that's that. All right, Lubie, what did you do? What did you eat? I mean, basically mine was the spreads along with a baked brie that Michelle picked up from Whole Foods. It's excellent. It has like a drizzle of honey along with some truffle and some of those, no, that was just truffle and honey on the baked brie. It was so good. The crust, brie and croûte, along with the conch salad and the fish dip from the Delaware Seafood Market. And then main course was that it was grilled cabbage along with the Korean beef that was skirt steak, along with some nice rice with fried egg in the rice, crispy rice, and then the grilled jumbo prawns. That was our spread. And then I ended up finding myself drinking a beer all alone at Shenanigans for the second half. We're not going to get into the gory details. Let's just suffice to say there's a reason why we're divorced. Okay. Lubie, how did you do?
Better than you. I was at the same place start to finish. My parents went big, as my mom always goes. No, Jim Sarney, she did not cook all week like she does for Thanksgiving, but I just was doing low key. Shirley's not here. We usually go to her parents. I, again, used to watch a lot of sports with my parents, but I don't really get to these days because I spend weekends with my wife because of our work schedules. So I had a weekend without my wife, and there was a big football game. So they came over. They brought everything. It was very Mayo-esque, I guess. Ribs, baby backs, both kind. I guess there's a Danish baby back. My mom makes sure I know exactly what that is. And then the regular baby back, corn on the cob, baked beans, and cheesecake. So they worked for me, and it was great. And I didn't have to do any cooking, so it was even better. Or ordering in. So it went really well.
It's always good when you just have, the less preparation and less cleanup, the better. So, well, that's good for you. I'm glad that you had an enjoyable time with the family, a little alone time till Shirley comes back the next couple of days. I guess you'll have a belated Valentine's Day celebration.
Well, that's
later.
The funny thing is Valentine's, I don't know if it's good or bad. We actually met, literally, our first date was like 2 days before Valentine's. So Valentine's is literally our non-marriage anniversary. So a lot of the times you get married, exactly. You get married and then like you write off that anniversary. I'm not allowed because it's Valentine's too. So literally our 6-year anniversary is tomorrow and she won't be here. But I was told because I have a very strong and opinionated wife that doesn't matter, that we still have to do Valentine's. Because I'm like, thank God I don't have to do Valentine's.
You're off the hook. Yeah.
Another anniversary. It's like, oh no, you idiot. You definitely have to do Valentine's. And when I get back, I will be expecting Valentine's.
All right. Well, you've got plenty of great places to choose from. Have you ever been to Cafe Seville?
No, I haven't. That's actually
So this is my suggestion. You got to go see Joey. He will take good care of you at Cafe Seville because it's a really romantic place too. That the original dining room before he expanded has these kind of very cozy tables for two and great food in there. And that's the kind of place that it's been there a long time, but if you don't know the area that well, it's again a strip, shopping center on Oakland Park Boulevard, the kind of place that Broward County, Greater Fort Lauderdale excels at. And if you're looking for maybe that last second place that you could find a spot for Valentine's Day, I would suggest going on to the visitlauderdale.com website because Greater Fort Lauderdale, they have all these different restaurants listed. They have them broken down by category and price point and cuisine style. And, if you want to find that beautiful romantic waterfront setting, whether it's right overlooking the Atlantic, places like Dune or S3 where we visited, or at Evelyn's at the Four Seasons on the beach, or Tocado, Burlock Coast. All these places are listed. And of course, there's places on the Intracoastal and Las Olas. And that's because Greater Fort Lauderdale, we're all about the food here, along with welcoming everybody under the sun. And that means all the foodies out there, the culinary explorers and the cocktail connoisseurs, craft beer aficionados. Come one, come all. This is the time of year where it seems everybody is here. Look that way on the roads this weekend, all the traffic, but that's okay. It's worth it to come down here and being able to get the sunshine and sample and all these great different restaurants, more than 4,000 restaurants in the area, along with, the breweries that are on the Visit Lauderdale Ale Trail, and all these speakeasies, rooftop bars. Again, more than 4,000 area restaurants. It's a never-ending culinary and libation celebration in Greater Fort Lauderdale, and everyone's invited. So for more information, again, for Valentine's Day and beyond, go to visitlauderdale.com.
And I think that'll do it for another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Defo.
Hey, two quick notes about commercials again in Super Bowl, but junk food things. I thought both of them, well, one of them had a lot of people scratching their heads. I don't know. I guess you didn't see the commercials. The M&M's one where, M&M's.
Miami, that was the only, I didn't get. Like,
they were calling Malmos. And, M&M's have been under fire lately. Like, it's amazing to me how this country has become so political where, a color of an M&M is now become seen as some sign. So I think M&M people had a little fun by saying that now the M&M's were now clam bites instead of actual candy, and that now there's a campaign to bring back the actual M&M's candy instead of what they were calling him Mayo. With Mayo, Rudolph was the in the ad. It was a bizarre ad. I don't know. That one kind of fell a little flat. Most people. But the one I liked a lot was the Doritos ad. Did you see where Jack Harlow gave up his rap career and then started playing the triangle instead? And he was going around and people all of a sudden were buying triangles. It was pretty funny. And the commercial ended with Elton John also traded his piano and started playing the triangle. But that was for Doritos because they're triangles. And I thought that was a clever and funny ad. So that's it. We'll see you again tomorrow, I think, with the professor, your friend Ken, right? Love to talk food and sports with him, and also the state of the restaurant industry. It seems like a perpetual state of hostility and warfare, and that's just on the Let's Eat group. So,
yeah.
But hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. I hope you had a good Super Bowl weekend, and I hope you have an even better Valentine's Day tomorrow. We'll talk about that on Valentine's Day. On the Lunchbox, which also happens to be a pretty somber day in these parts too. And we'll talk about that at the beginning of the show because we will never forget those who are infected. I can't believe it's been 5 years for that Marjorie Stoneman Douglas high school massacre. But until then, this is Mike Mayo saying hail to the Chiefs and enjoy every sandwich.